first of all, I would define my music on like a technical level, but also at the same time, I would define my music, of course, in terms of aesthetics and eventually even music. So there's always these two levels to define my music, which constantly correspond. There's always like a correspondence between like the aesthetic side of what I do and the like technical distinctions on which my music is based. So there's always like a clear-cut correspondence between technical aspects, obviously linked to like the method I use for generating my sound, the terms in which I define what kind of structural approach I take to my music. And on the other hand, it's always very important to have at the same time like an aesthetic idea of what this music can eventually do, or what the music should convey in the end aesthetically and musically. So there's always this kind of parallel approach to what I do. So first of all, it's very easy to base my music on technical distinctions, because it's obviously relating to and relying on a generative method to create sound. So it is a means for creating sound by using predetermined fragments of already existing CDs. So this method to create my music has eventually and finally successfully replaced something that formerly could be referred to as creativity. So it has replaced creativity in a sense, which in general, or which altogether makes this a more like very structural approach and a kind of very technical approach to the music. And at the same time, by using this method and using this very technical distinction on which the whole work is based, at the same time it's equally important what kind of musical result this music in the end should be like, or what it should convey in an aesthetic sense, which in it sounds like a contradiction in itself, because obviously using fragments from already existing CDs is a means of ruling out the factor that I'm the person who creates the sound himself. So the sound is not originating anywhere in my kind of equipment, in my kind of setup. It's already existing. The sound fragments from the already existing CDs, other people's CDs, is already like a means of ruling out the factor that I am like the author of my own music, in the sense of generating music. On the other hand, I just shift the focus. I just shift the focus on other aspects of this work, like procedural aspects of the workflow, aspects of structure, aspects of user interface relation, using a user interface technology, or complying to, or working against certain frames or framework of user interface technology. And in that sense, it is in the first place a very technical approach in itself, which is based on a clear technical distinction, using restricting myself on certain elements, just using those to create my music, and effectively limiting my musical expressive potential in my music to a certain effect of this generative method, of this just technical distinction. And on the other hand, I try to like convey in the final result something that is in itself an aesthetic entity, or something that convey something in the music in an aesthetic sense as well. So there's always like a parallel approach of two possibilities, or two paths that could be the same. So the idea with the process software, the concept of the process software is basically a loop-based player
software that lets you play back and restructure oval samples in quite a detailed way. So basically you start off with the browser on top here. The software features a range of samples that can be chosen from a browser and can be pulled down into this work area here in the middle. Each sample can be dragged down from this browser into the mix area and can be moved to the left and right and up and down according to the volume levels and the balance in the stereo field. So when you move a sample right, it moves to the right in the stereo field that is played in here. So each of those samples can be dragged down into the work area and as soon as it is dropped into the work area, it is played. So any of these samples practically runs in a sync. So all the samples playing here are running more or less in some sort of sync. Of course, the basic concept of the user interface design is more a graphic and abstract approach as opposed to having each sample represented by a waveform or a spectrogram. It is, instead of doing that, each sample in each element, graphic element, is just represented by an icon or a color-coded graphic element, abstract graphic element. So either you can start off just pulling down samples from the browser and arranging them in this work area and adjust the volume level and the position in the stereo field, and then proceed by, for instance, pulling down effects from here, the right. You can pull down these effects and apply an effect on each of these sound elements active in the mix window. Or you can start off by just hitting one of these preset brackets to the right, to the left, and you just hit the brackets, and you keep hitting the bracket until it presents you with a selection of samples you would like to use.